Welcome everybody to Coffee Shop Thursday. Time just to grab that good old mug of coffee and enjoy it. Just as much as I enjoyed last Sunday's game. Oh, did I happen to mention? Yeah, okay. Enough said. Hey, we're looking at our alternate reading for this coming Sunday. If you happen to follow the alternate readings for the Revised Common Lectionary, anybody here doing that? No, we're all doing the regular readings, but the alternate readings are made to be more of a, hey, we're going to start here in this book of the Old Testament, kind of work our way through over the next couple of weeks, then we'll move on to the next one, then the next one, and right down the line. And it happens to have landed into Proverbs at this point, and we're going to get the very last proverb in just a second, but just a couple of things to know about the Proverbs and to be a little helpful is that the way it's put together, it's almost as if it was like a school manual to help people out in, well, going to school. Maybe it was the royal courts that this was put together for. Who knows? There's a lot of witty sayings, they're like folksy type sayings, and we have the same thing going on in a lot of different literature, but it was all put together and tied into, well, God. All right, somehow God is a part of our lives, and this helps us to live the kind of life that He wants us to live. It's kind of neat how some of it happens. You go to Proverbs 24. Anybody want to look that up? Yeah, look that up. Proverbs 24, and look at verse 30 to the end there. It's written in a first-person narrative. Like, here I am, and this is what I happened to see, and aha, this is what came to mind when I looked at this. I passed by the field of one who was lazy, by the vineyard of a stupid person, and see, it was all overgrown with thorns. The ground was covered with nettles. Its stone wall was broken down. Then I saw and I considered it. I looked and received instruction. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed warrior. In other words, get lazy and this is what you get. You get nothing. Get thorns and everything's just a mess. So get out there and be a productive person. Okay, that's a proverb, and that's okay. Then you have things that say, well, it's better that this happens than that happens. Better this than that. So go to Proverbs 16, and you have, better is a little with righteousness than large income with injustice. Then you look ahead a little bit further in that Proverbs chapter 16. It is better to be of lowly spirit among the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. So you're better off with this, even though that doesn't seem like it makes any sense, than to have the other. Better to be poor than to be rich. You have a whole lot of things. Oh, there's ones that say, you have, there's this X amount of something, and X plus 1, well, that's even more interesting than you think. So let's go to Proverbs 6. Everybody turn to that real quick, and you're going to look at verses 16 through 19. Proverbs 6, 16 through 19. There, in 16, it says, there are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to Him. 6 plus 1, 7. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that hurry to run to evil, a lying witness who testifies falsely, and one who sows discord in a family. So you see that kind of pattern pop up a couple of times. It's not only here in the Proverbs, you get some of this in the Psalms as well. There's wisdom type literature that's scattered throughout the Older Testament. It's not just in Ecclesiastes or in Job or in Proverbs. We find it in a couple different places. So, well, what does that have to do? And there's some other things we can go through, different types of Proverbs that pop up throughout the book. But what does that have to do with Proverbs chapter 31 that we have for this week? Well, it's an interesting one in that it's the only one of the Proverbs that's an acrostic. What do you mean by an acrostic? Well, we've had that term used with the Psalms before, you remember? Where you start out with the first letter of the alphabet and you go all the way to the last letter of the alphabet. And each verse begins with the consecutive letter of the alphabet. In this case, it's the Hebrew alphabet. So you go all the way from, if you were using our English alphabet, A to Z. And what's interesting about this one is it talks about the perfect wife. It doesn't talk about the perfect husband anywhere. It's the perfect wife. Now, it's interesting. A lot of these Proverbs, in fact, you might even say most of the Proverbs are directed toward young men. Young men. And this one is talking about, hey guys, here's how you go out and get yourself the perfect wife. Isn't that funny that that's part of our scriptures? But here it is in 31. Now, you don't want to look at the very first 9 verses of 31 because there's a little thing here. It says, the words of King Lemuel, an oracle that his mother taught him. Well, you don't want to look at that one. It's talking about getting drunk and how that's not such a good idea. Don't do that. Don't get drunk. But instead, what you need to do is go find yourselves a good wife. And that starts with verse 10, and that goes all the way through the end of the chapter. And that's where the acrostic type psalm starts. A capable wife who can find? She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and she will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. And on and on and on it goes. And it just shows what a capable person she is, how industrious she is, how smart she is. Oh, this is the type of person you want to have. How do you like this right here? She puts her hand to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. What's all that stuff about? Well, it's all about spinning, because you have to be a good spinner and a weaver, because you're making everybody's clothes for the family. And on and on and on. And it goes, at the very end, it says these words. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her happy, her husband too, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Ah, isn't that just a wonderful proverb? Well, it is. And many have said, yeah, just go out and try to find a woman like that. Oh, come on, slap their face when they say that, okay? Yeah, just do that. No, but it does talk about all those virtues that you would like, really, not just women, but anyone to have. Industrious, caring, sharing, one who puts family first, all that sort of stuff. It's good things. Just think of the fun the person who wrote this came up with all these different things, because remember, it's an acrostic psalm, which means the first Hebrew word in each verse goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through the alphabet. Only it's the Hebrew alphabet, not our English alphabet. So that's a tough thing to do, to come up with a poem like that. And yet they did. And we find it here in our book of Proverbs. Hey, you know what I think we should do on a coffee shop Thursday sometime? I think we should all get together with our cup of coffee Talk about the great game of the week before. And, but maybe we should all work on an acrostic poem. Yeah, come up with our own English style acrostic poem and share it with the congregation someday. Think we should do that? It's not as easy as you think, especially when you get to the letter Q or X or Z. It's going to be a lot of fun working around those letters, isn't it? Well, God's blessings be with you. Enjoy your coffee shop. Enjoy your coffee. Enjoy your friends that you're out there with. Because, you know what? Just as a good wife is more precious than jewels, good friends are the same way. They are just so precious. You want to hang on to them forever. God's blessings be with you.